Florence? Florence? It's becoming a problem. I would like to start the session. Kindly. John? Sandra?
Yes.
You can still hear me. Why am I not able to communicate with the others? I have Florence. I can see you've logged in.
Yes,
Yes, how are you?
I'm good.
Finally, you've joined us. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Okay, what you do?
Yes.
What you do? If you're not talking, yeah, you mute your microphone. Do you know how to mute your microphone? Yes. Unajua kwanza wewe Florence, kwanza utamute microphone yako. I think kuna background noise penye huko.
Okay.
Ukitaka kuongea una unmute, sawa?
Sawa.
Mahali huko kuna makelele. Alternatively utoke place iko na makelele.
Okay.
So that we can have a smooth session without so much distractions. Okay, John. John, I can see. John?
Hello.
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good to have you online at this hour. I hope you're doing well, eh?
Yes, I'm doing okay.
Good. Now, we agreed that you're going to start looking at the first topic today. You remember that?
Yes.
Good. So I hope you have your notes today, all of you. Haya. Ule ako kwa makelele, please mute your microphone so that we can have a quiet environment for learning. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll expect you to participate. I'll expect you to participate and ask questions. Yeah. Now, we're looking at the first topic on history and government. That is introduction to history and government. So at the end of this topic, we have key objectives. Yeah, you're supposed to be able to define the term history and government. You're supposed to be able to describe the importance of studying history and government and explain the branches of history. I hope you've gotten me loud and clear. So at the end of this topic, you should be able to explain the meaning of the term history, government. Describe the importance of studying history and government and explain the branches of history. Of course, on top of that, I've added some other items, necessary to these, that are of importance to this topic. So you should not ignore them as well unless I tell you to do that. Okay. But note those key learning objectives. So we start by defining the term history. So like I'd said last week, if you remember, is that history is not a very new concept. I want to believe to a number of us. you will find that a number of us, I think all of us in primary school, did a subject called history, or mulifanya social studies.
Yes. That was in primary.
Mulifanya gani? Mulifanya history actually.
Tulifanya
Sandra,
history
maybe you
then
can
social studies.
mulifanya
In primary, we
history.
no, in primary we did social studies. Then in high school it was history.
History. What about John?
Same.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay. That is okay. Now, John said he last stepped in a history class in Form 2. So I'm very sure he has forgotten a number of things. But you are sure I'll be able to help you. And also you're expected to put also your own effort, yes, to be able to have good understanding. So how do you define the word history? Is there anyone of us who is willing to tell us, to describe that for us? In a very simple language, how will you define the term history? Of course, we will say it is the study of what? Past events of human beings in a very simple language, and it still makes sense. So we'll say the study of past events of human beings. Sindio? Yes, that is the simplest way of defining it. From the notes we add and their response to the environment over the years. So of course, if you're studying history, you're simply looking at what? Past events of human beings. Of course, in our case, we are looking at anything that involves human beings. Maybe there are others who will study past history of maybe mountains, rivers, and all that. But for us in this unit, our most of our focus will be on what? Human beings and their activities and anything that affects them. Okay. So we have that. We also have another way of defining it. We say it is also a science. It is a science concerned with what? Past human actions. It is a science concerned with past human actions. So if you define the term history that way, you'll have your mark or remarks. Sawa.
Okay.
Then we go to the next area where we look at periods of history. Sandra, can you hear me? I'll use you to Sandra.
Yes.
Good. Hiya, John. I can see Jerome
Yes.
has joined us. John, Rono. Rono. Okay, let's continue. Okay, we have periods of history. We have this someone who has some background noise. I hope it's not me. Jerome. Rono. I don't know. Rono, kindly join using microphone. Join using microphone, kindly. Okay, we have periods of history. We have two major periods of history. We have prehistory and we have history. So prehistory is that history that relies on finding past events of human beings through we say it relies on excavated materials and fossils. Sawa. with this kind of a history, the historians focus relies more on what? Excavated materials and fossils to be able to understand the histories. Sawa.
Yes.
So when history, it relies on what? This kind of historians will rely on narrations of narrations from people and written works to be able to understand the history of maybe a certain group or a certain community. So note that we have two periods of history. We have prehistory, which largely relies on what? Excavated materials and fossils. And then we have history, which relies on what? Narration and written works. Okay, I move on to branches of history. Are we together up to there?
Yes.
Good. Okay, we go to branches of history. Whoever has, if you maybe just to get away from the topic, if you have Ronald's number, kindly tell her to join us using microphone. Okay, whoever has her number, kindly tell us to join us using microphone. Okay, in the we can continue. We have branches of history from your notes. Florence, do you have your notes?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah.
I just highlight the three main branches of history from your notes. Unanisikia kweli Florence?
History.
Uh-huh.
We have economy history.
Okay. Okay.
Economic history.
Okay.
Then we have social history.
Social history. Okay, you really breaking. Maybe we can have. Thank you for that. I don't know. Are you able to hear me clearly, Florence?
Yes.
Okay, it's okay.
Then
Johnson, you're breaking. I don't know why. Johnson, John. Okay, Sandra, back to you again. Seems like I cannot read. Johnson.
Yes.
Good. Now, do you have your notes with you? Johnson, do you have your notes with you? Yes or no? I don't know. I think I am not. Now I'm not even sure if I'm clear, I'm audible enough or not. Sandra,
Yes.
back to you. Sandra,
Yes.
do you have your notes with you? I think you're the only one able to communicate clearly. Do you have your notes with you?
Yes.
That is good. Now, can you just highlight the three branches of history from your notes?
We have political history, economic history, and social history.
Very good. So I can see we are at par. Now we have these three branches of history. Now I'll take you through the first one, which is social history. So generally, social history focuses on the social life of human beings, maybe in a community or in a country. So the social life, every community, every country, every group has a social life. So what do you mean by a branch of history called social history. It focuses on the social life. What is included in the social life? This includes how individuals relate with each other.
Other.
If you go to, let's say, to which community, let's say to Oromos, they have their way of relating with each other. If you go to the Abagusis, they have a way of relating with each other. If you go to the Nandis, they have a way of relating with each other. So generally, the social history is the one that focuses on how people relate with each other. They will look at the kind of foods these people feed on. Sawa? So you'll find that you'll find that some communities feed on what? Maybe fish, others pilau, others pilau, others ideri. Yes, we agree that we have all those differences. John, I'll get back to you shortly. Let me just finish working on social history. Then we have religion, still under history, social history. It still focuses on the religion of different individuals and communities. You'll find, like in our country, which we have, how many religions do you know that exist in our country? Oh my God, have I lost all of you? John? John has left. He says his phone has a problem. Are we together to there? So it will also study the different religions of different communities. Sawa? So I was asking examples of religions that you know. Florence, I don't know if give me one example of a religion that you're familiar with.
SK.
Hmm?
SK.
Aki, you're really breaking. It's very unfortunate. But I hope you're able to hear me clearly. Sindio?
I'm saying
Okay. Mm-hmm.
SK.
Eh?
SK.
SK. Okay.
That one. Yeah.
Okay. So when we talk of religion, we're referring to what? What you're giving is sorry?
It's Christianity.
Good. Christianity, Islamic, Hinduism, hizo zote. Good. Now I can see a red bar. So we have such the social history branch, the branch of history called social history will also focus on maybe medication that different communities use. We know very well in the past, most of the communities relied on what? On herbal medicine to treat different ailments, yeah? And you find that still, even today, as much as technology, we are using technology, and as much as we have so many hospitals, we still find that some communities are still held back onto such behaviors of using what? Of using herbal medicine. It also looks at so many other things. So whatever I've given are just a few examples. We have economic history. That is the second branch that you're going to look at. So it focuses on economic activities. It focuses on economic activities. So maybe I can throw the question back to Sandra. Sandra? Sandra?
Yes.
Yes, give me one example of economic activity of any community in Kenya.
The Nilotes, most of them fish.
Uh-huh.
That is the River Lake Nilotes.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to, let's say, like for example, the Kalenjin,
Mm-hmm.
most of them grow tea, and they also farm.
Good. So that's good. So we have these kind of economic activities such as communication, agriculture, fishing, transport, trading, hunting, and gathering, livestock keeping, among others. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So we have all that. So different economic activities is what this branch of history focuses on. We have political history. So generally we say it is the study of the government and its leaders or leaders. So you find that every country has its own type of government. Every country has a government and its own leadership style. So you'll also find this kind of history studies what the leaders, political leaders who have helped a country to get where it is now. In our country, we can appreciate leaders, political leaders, some who have died and some who are still living, such as who? Oginga Odinga, Jomo Kenyatta, Bildad Kagia, among others. Sawa. So that kind of a branch tries to study that. We go to defining the term government, unless there's a question this far. Kama kuna swali tunaweza endelea. We look at the term government. We say from the notes, we've said it's the method of ruling or exercising power or authority over a country, state, county, or even a city. The method of ruling or exercising power or authority of a country, state, country, or city. So that is what the government is. Another simple way of defining it, we can say it's the management of a nation's affairs or a country's affairs or a county's affair. Management of a country's affairs, county, or even a state or a city. I hope we are at par until there. If you have any question, kindly post. You post it at the area where we have chat. We have types of government. We have democratic government. In democratic government, just a minute. In democratic government is whereby we say the leaders, the political leaders, regularly seek the opinions of the public. Sawa. The government normally seek the opinion of the public. How do they seek the opinion of the public? One example is through popular vote or through times when people cast their votes. So, yes, generally the public is able to participate. in so many activities of the government. So before the government passes anything, the opinion of the public is normally sought. We have aristocratic government. In this kind of a form of government, those in the highest social class rules over the others. Highest social class. Remember, we normally have 3 classes of people. We have upper, middle, and lower. So those are the upper class, are the one who automatically rule over the others. That is aristocratic type of a government. We have monarchy government. So in this kind of a government, power is normally passed from parents to children. In such kind of a state, we normally have king or a queen. Now back to you. Do you know of any country where we have kings and we have queens?
Britain.
Britain is one. Any African country?
Eswatini.
Yeah. Come again.
Eswatini is a former Swaziland.
Good. I like your pronunciation. Yeah, we used to call him Mswati, King Mswati. What did you call him?
No, the country
But it's
now is known.
Mhm.
The country is known as Eswatini.
Eswatini. It's no longer known as Swaziland.
No, it's no longer recognized as Swaziland.
Okay. Fine. That is good. Now, we have those examples of countries where we have monarchical government, and then we have dictatorial government. Dictatorial government is whereby the rulers have total powers over the subjects. Total, note the word total powers over the subject. So the citizens in such countries have no say over the decisions of the rulers. So if the ruler makes a decision, his decision is actually becomes the final decision. So that is in instances where we have what? We have dictatorial government or dictatorial government. The leader is normally referred by other people as dictator. Do you know of a country where we have a dictator as a ruler?
North Korea.
North Korea. I can see you really informed. Yeah, that is good. North Korea. What do you call him?
Kim Jong-un.
Good. Did you hear that, Florence?
Yes.
Good. Sandra, did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Do you know of any other dictator, whether alive or has passed on? Or passed on, that is? In Africa, any?
Idi Amin.
Idi Amin. Any other? Idi Amin. You can actually watch maybe movies that have been acted to make people remember Idi Amin. Or maybe you can look for materials to read more about Idi Amin. He was a total dictator in Uganda. I don't know whether they have been liberated from dictatorship by Museveni, but he's far much better when we compare him with who? With
Idi Amin.
Idi Amin. At one time, Idi Amin lied to the beggars on the streets of Uganda that he wanted to help them, yeah. And then he sent some trucks to go collect all of them, yeah, who are on the streets, and then he directed the drivers to drive all those beggars to Indian Ocean, and and make all of them drown there. So you can see he was a serious and a total dictator. Among other things that he did, of course, so many people, leaders were murdered during his regime. So he was a good example. Any other example of a dictator in Africa? Have you ever heard of Mobutu Sese Seko? Have you ever heard of him? Yeah? Have you?
No.
Mobutu,
No, which country?
this, yeah?
No.
Let me write it. There is the spelling. Mobutu, yeah? He was from DRC Congo.
Mm-hmm.
He was still another ruthless leader, yeah? If not wrong, he was assassinated, yeah? Yes, because of his dictatorial type of leadership. Again, you can do further research to find out how dictatorial as a type of government is bad, yeah? Because people tend to hate such leaders. For example, if you look at the case of Mobutu, yeah, sorry, I have to go outside our country. I think in our country, we'll say we've enjoyed democratic type of leadership for most of the time. So you'll find that Mobutu actually, by the time he passed on, he was constructing, how do not even a bungalow, a very, a luxurious house which had airport and so many other luxuries, yeah. And unfortunately, after he passed on, nobody took over the developments he had started. And unfortunately, the house that he had started building, which was worth millions, yeah, right now watu wenye wanakaa huko ni hawa watu tu, unaona watu wenye hawana kwao, yeah? Na panya ndio zimejaa huko and other animals, yeah? You can do your research as well to see, yeah? How his developments were ignored by the other leaders and even the public. Those who like traveling, maybe you can plan. When Corona is over, you go to Congo and see what Mobutu did. Yeah, he was not the best leader. Of course, he was a dictator. We have anarchy. Anarchy, you told me you have your notes, so I don't have to write it down. So we say it is a state of lawlessness or absence of government. So that is whereby we do not have what? It's a situation where we do not have any government in place. So we say that is anarchy. But I think at the moment we don't have any country that does not have a government. When there is anarchy, you find that the public or the citizens are normally engaged in fights. Sawa, vita tu ndio iko pale kila wakati. So at such a point we say that's an anarchy. I don't know do you have any question up to that juncture? No, so we can continue. We have characteristics of government. Characteristics of government. So we have rules, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Rules are the ones that the government uses to do what? To govern its members.
Mm-hmm.
So these rules comes in form of what? Law and policies. So every government, so the rules that the government uses any government should have rules that helps it to govern its members, which I said comes in the form of laws and policies. We have another characteristic, sovereignty. Sovereignty, whereby we say, if you are to look at the word sovereign, we say it is possessing supreme or ultimate power. Possessing supreme or ultimate power. So we say, of course, when the government, so when we say there is sovereignty, So sovereignty enables the government to exercise its powers, of course, within its borders. Sovereignty enables the government to exercise its powers within its borders. So, for example, we have Kenyan government, which has only powers within the Kenyan borders. Outside that, hakuna kitu inaweza fanya, si ndio?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, hata Uhuru akasirike juu maybe Ugandan or Tanzanian or Ethiopian or Somalia government is not doing what it's supposed to do, the fact remains he has no power over those countries. So kitu tu anaweza fanya kubwa ni kufanya nini? Kukasirika, si ndio?
Yeah.
Anaweza kasirika, and if that country is a member of an international body, now the country, our president can write to what? Such an international body. For example, let's say we are members of UN or WHO, si ndio?
Yes.
And then let's say Uganda is also a member of WHO, Somalia, Tanzania, si ndio? So maybe in the fight of corona, maybe one country is failing the rest, is it? So there is nothing our president can do. Aende huko awambie, can you stop whatever you're doing? Why? Because it lacks what? It does not possess ultimate or supreme power over that country. So it can only exercise powers within its boundaries. Sawa, ataweka curfew Kenya, ban inter-county movements in some counties peke yake, lakini yenye inapita kwa mpaka yake ananyamaza peke yake. We have legitimacy. Legitimacy is whereby we say it's the acceptance of authority to people over whom it powers. So that is on legitimacy. It is the acceptance of authority by people. Sawa. So for example, we have our government, our Kenyan government, which is headed by Uhuru. So for any government to be said to be a government, it has to be what? Legitimate. Therefore, tunasema watu wameikubali. Okay. Yes, the people have accepted that government to exercise power over them. So whatever the government declares, the citizens have to abide by it. Why? Because they have accepted that as the authority, or as the government rather. We have jurisdiction. So every government exercises its powers within a geographical area. Sawa. We have, let's say, county government of Nairobi. Do we have a governor in Nairobi?
Yes.
What is his name or her name? Florence. Oh,
Yes.
Your name is at the top. That's why I think I've been calling you. Who is the governor of Nairobi? What is his name or her name?
Mr. Michael Mbuvi-Sonko.
That is good. Johnson,
Yes.
I hope you're still together. Which county do you come from? Please don't tell us Nairobi.
I was born and raised in Nairobi, but
Penye
the history
utagawiwa
goes back
shamba na mzazi.
in Turkana.
Oh, you from Turkana?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So what is the name of your governor?
I have no idea.
You cannot be serious. And I know him.
No.
But he's quite famous because he was the, what do you call him?
He
He
was
was the chair of county.
Council of Governor.
See,
But
What
I
is
don't
his name?
remember the name. I don't remember. I know him.
tunafaa tukurudishe
Or just
Turkana.
what Nano.
Aha, Nanok, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't remember his second name, but I know he's the Turkana name, Nanok, yeah? Yes, you got it right.
Yeah.
Good. When was the last time you visited Turkana? or you've never? Anyway, it's a
No,
rather personal question.
No, I was there back in 2017.
Oh, okay. When are you planning to visit the place?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
You're not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Seems like you don't even miss that place. It's okay anyway. It's a rather personal question anyway. Actually, you had the right to answer or not to answer.
No.
I think I am grateful you answered it. Sandra,
Yes.
to you now. Don't which county do you come from? And don't tell me Nairobi.
Kakamega.
Kakamega.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the name of your governor?
Wycliffe Oparanya.
At least you guys come from counties whereby your governors are quite famous, yeah. So this is, you find that now the question is here. Actually, you and John have something in common. Reason, Nanok was when Nanok left the seat of the chair of Council of Governors. Who took over? Who replaced him? Yeah? You have no idea. Don't tell me you have no idea. I want to get to hear what you know. Who replaced him?
Wycliffe.
You have something in common in terms of county leadership, governance leadership. So when he left, when Nanok left, he was replaced by Wycliffe Oparanya. Now you get my point?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now the point is this, yeah. If Wycliffe visits Turkana County, nani ameanza kupiga story, anataka kutuambia story. Please, if you have to talk with someone else, yeah, of which I hope you are not going to do, I'm about to release you, yeah. I'll give you some assignment and then release you. Sava?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, maybe we can meet 20 minutes towards the end, then we discuss. I'll give you a small task and then we discuss it 20 minutes to time, eh? So,
Yes.
so you find that when we say jurisdiction is a characteristic of the government, what we mean is that the government can only exercise its powers and enforce its rules and laws within a certain geographical location. So you find that if Wycliffe left Kakamega and goes to Turkana, he has no powers in that country, in that county. Akifika huko, yeye ni raia kama mtu mwingine yoyote. It's only that he will be known as a governor of, he will be recognized, or not recognized, rather acknowledged as the governor of Kakamega. But he will have no powers maybe to declare anything in that or to make any decision pertaining the Turkana County. The other last characteristic, we say it's law enforcement. So the government is able to take action against those who break the law. Yes. So we have those characteristics which we started, the first one being, one is rules, sovereignty, legitimacy, jurisdiction, and law enforcement. Good. We're still continuing, eh?
Yeah.
Una swali hadi hapo?
No.
No.
No, good. We have, can I continue?
Florence is muted.
Someone tell her, I think someone was talking to her. Florence, if you can hear me, kindly unmute your mic. Good. Can we continue? It's hardly an hour. Maybe we can look at the next concept. when we get to an hour, maybe I'll give you some work. Sawa.
Yes.
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 I'll give you some work. Mfanye sasa. Okay. So we look at importance of studying history. We have about 20 importances. There are many. So of course, the first one is very simple to understand. Through history, we are able to learn what? Number one, economic, social, and political organization of different people. Whoever has a baby near her, kindly mute your mic. Kindly mute your mic.
Hello.
Okay. So we are able to learn the economic, number one, economic, social, and political organization of different people or communities. We'll be looking at that in details. In the next topic, what we'll be looking at are things, the economic activities of Bantus, Kushites, Nilotes, their social activities as well as political organization. So through the study of history, we are able to understand all these organization of different communities in Kenya. Number two, it helps us to appreciate the value of others and contribution to civilization, or you can also talk of what? Independence. Civilization and independence. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So, do you have anyone in mind whom you're able to appreciate? Any leader, whether he's alive or left us, any leader whom you feel played a big role, in the attainment of independence as well as civilization. Do you have any person?
Nelson Mandela.
Good. In Kenya, have you lived in South Africa? Asking out of curiosity. You seem to be very informed.
No,
Or
I
it is
spent
just interest.
a few weeks there.
A few weeks? Okay. Yes, it seems like you're quite familiar with that area, yeah? Okay, good. Any leader in Kenya?
Mzee Jomo Kenyatta.
Good. Yes, among others, yeah?
Yeah, among others.
Give us whatever you wanted to add.
Tom Mboya.
Yeah. Good. Now, we have number three, enables people to appreciate and understand their past way of life. Yes, I don't know. I don't know if you understand your past way of life. Past way of life. For people in your community, the past way of life for your community. Do you know how your community began up to where we've reached? I'm not sure if some of us really understand and some of us do not have a very good understanding. If you don't have a very good understanding, please find time with your grandmother, grandfather. If you don't have that, find old people in your community who can enlighten you on the same. The other thing we say, history trains us to develop the capacity for critical analysis, to develop the capacity for critical analysis of historical data. So this is mostly for people who are engaged in what? In undertaking history as a course. So of course, history will enable us to critically analyze any historical data that we come across. The other thing we say, it creates a sense of patriotism and national pride. It creates a sense of patriotism and national pride. There is a repetition there. So you'll find that, I don't know if are we Kenyans patriotic, in your opinion?
It depends, to be honest.
It depends.
Yes, it varies.
Yeah.
With what?
The state of the nation.
I'd come again.
With the state of the nation, if it favors the citizens, they will be patriotic. But if the regime is oppressive, you cannot be patriotic to your country if it's oppressive to you.
If it is oppressive, yeah. So sure, I agree with you. It's what? It's dependent on so many other factors. But
Yeah.
we have countries where we have patriotism. Patriotism is easy to note or to recognize. Yeah, we have countries like America, whereby people are very proud of their country. You'll find them, I don't know if they are still proud as they used to be in the past, but you'll find them, they carry their flags everywhere, to remind people, like when they visit a country, like they are very proud to remind people, like, I'm from America, such stuff. In Kenya, it depends with the state of the country, as you see, and the government, yeah. The other one, you say it also fosters empathy. Empathy, in this case, we mean that by studying history, we are able to understand where each community is coming from and why people behave the way they behave, because it could be as a reason of what? Of where they are coming from. So it boosts that empathy. You will not laugh at a Masai who puts on a shuka and carries a rungu in town. Why? Because if you're learned, yeah, because you're able to understand this is their way of life, that is their culture. You'll not go talking ill about Kikuyus who majorly eat which food? Which is the staple food for Kikuyu? Hiyo ni maswali nitamuuliza sasa, mwende mfanye research. Githeri, yeah. Some communities regard githeri to be a food that is taken for breakfast, yeah? Is that right? Yes. Well, you'll find that maybe in Kikuyu community, this is their staple food, which is eaten during lunch hour and dinner. Sindio? So if you've done history, you have no reason to keep making fun of them unless you're doing it on a light note. What you need to understand is that it's their way of life. They grew up, found their grandmothers doing that and their parents, and they simply carried forward their culture. Sindio? Someone will not go talking ill about a Luo who eats omena. And someone wonders, unakula aje vitu zinakuangalia. Sindio?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why you'll not question all these things. You'll not question why community like which one? Akina Turkana. Sorry, I have to use your community as an example, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the kind of houses that are built in Turkana, si ni nyumba zenye zinatumwa zinakaa very simple houses, ni kama I don't know. Okay, Sandra, you'll do your research to see how the houses look like, yeah, as well as Florence. But they are very simple houses. Tumiti tu chuchache, not very strong. Zimetumika alafu juu wengi wao wanaweka tu majani. And that becomes their house. Am I lying?
No, yeah, I think it's because of the culture itself. It's
the culture, yeah. So someone who has done history, you don't go ridiculing such people. Instead, you exercise what? Empathy. Saba. Yes. So I hope by the end of this lesson and unit, you'll be able to appreciate people's culture without regarding your culture as more superior than that of others. Instead, we say you are supposed to foster what? Empathy. Sawa. Kama si nzuri sana, ni sawa. The culture that is only supposed to be eliminated is one that is harmful to the people. Sawa. But if it's not harmful, leave it alone. Sawa.
Yeah.
We have the other one. That's number. It is also a way of preparing the community for life or society for life. That is simple to understand. The other one, it provides intellectual fulfillment and interest in further learning. So that is for people who specialize in what? History. Of course, you know, there are people who will study history in diploma level. I think in Kenya we don't have, but in degree levels and master's level. So you find that it provides intellectual fulfillment and interest in further learning. Alternatively, some people just want to study history just to gain more knowledge on a certain area of history, whether it is social history, economic or political history. History, we say now the second last point, it is also an integral study that accounts and records social and physical happenings in the time and space for the confirmation of man. And the last one can also lead the learner to respected professionals such as what? Law, business management, teaching, administration. And we also need to add social work. Please add that in your notes. Social work and community development. Haya, tuendelee. I think we can continue. After I'm done with this, I'll give you a break. Sawa?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we have the importance of studying government. So government enables us, point number one, to understand how laws are made and implemented. Sawa. Which is the lawmaking body in our country? Which one?
Is it the parliament?
Correct, the parliament, yeah? Yes, that is the lawmaking body. Kazi yao ni hiyo kubwa kubwa. One of the functions. Today, we look at that in the last topics. One function of the legislature is to do what? Make laws. Sawa. Who implements the law?
Yeah.
Who implements? One body makes the law, another one implements. Which one implements? Of course, the judiciary. Sawa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we together? Do you understand how?
Yes.
The parliament sits down during a session, debates on a certain bill, and then it's normally passed. The president assents. Once he does that, that becomes a law.
Yeah.
Maybe a law to wear face mask. Sawa. Sawa? It's just an example. Sawa. A law to wear face masks.
Okay.
So, or a law to reduce tax to maybe 12% of all employees. And another law, a law to do what? Not to tax all those earning 24,000 and below. The parliament sat down juzi tu, sindio? Simulisikia? Juzi tu, they debated on these suggestions by the president to tax, not to tax all those earning 24,000 and below, and to reduce tax for all the other people to 12%, na wao sijui alikuwa anajikata mshahara inatoshana aje, ingine watu wavae mask. So once the parliament once the parliament passes this and says when the MPs wako huko wa vote waseme and it passes, maybe to that votes yes for the proposals, this becomes a law. Sawa. So now the judiciary helps to implement what was passed by the parliament, and the president was able to assent and sign. So unapata the judiciary will fine any employer who does not reduce the tax, or who still continues to tax those people who are earning 24,000 and below, and anyone who does not put on face mask. So the judiciary generally implements. Sawa?
Yeah.
Yes.
Haya. Hey. Okay, tuendelee. The second one, studying of the government enables us to understand the structure of the government. Yes, the structure of government. We'll be looking at these in other topics, so we'll not go into details. Yeah, we have a whole topic on government and why we need government. Okay, the other thing with studying with government, point number 3, it helps us to understand our rights and responsibilities as citizens. I will not ask you about our rights because we have again a whole subtopic called rights and responsibilities. Okay.
Yes.
The other one, it helps us to understand duties of our leaders. We still have a topic on the roles of the judiciary, executive, and all that. Yeah, we'll not go into detail. We have the other one. It gives us a platform to compare our government and governments around the world. Maybe that government you feel is far much better than ours. So studying of government enables us to do what? To compare ourselves. Sindio? Unakaa hivi unasema, I think Somali's government is better than ours. I didn't say it's true, yeah? Or maybe Spain, China, whichever other country. The other one is that it helps the learner to appreciate the constitution and constitution making process. I'm sure most of you have never voted for this. So if BBI will still, if the campaign will still continue for BBI, you'll be able to appreciate such things, yeah, of what we say. It helps us, the learner, to appreciate constitution and the process of making the same constitution. Or we also have, it helps us to understand the 3 arms of the government and how they operate. Which are these 3 arms of the government?
Executive, legislature, and judiciary.
Good, and thank you. So, I would like to give you some work. Okay, you'll go back to the what? To the portal. Okay?
Yeah.
And then I'll post some questions, maybe 2. I hope you'll be able to go through them. Now, before I do that, the last subtopic on sources of information of history and government. Are you there?
Yeah.
This one is just additional information for you.
Okay.
So, it's not there on the syllabus, but it is important for you to have an idea of the sources of information on history and government. Juu swali ni watu wanajuanga ati hii community ilikuwa inaishi hivi inafanya hivi. Someone can question that and say watu wanatudanganyanga, si ndio? So that's why it's important to be able to
Yes.
understand the sources of information. We have unwritten, we have written, and we have electronic sources. Let me see. Okay, so we have all that. These are just additional notes. So,
Yes.
so I will post a question for you, and then I'll expect you for the time that is remaining for you to go through it. Hakuna time ya kupoteza, and then I'll be posting for you notes on topic 2. I had closed them, restricted them from view, so I'll be opening that link, and then in the meantime you go through these questions and give answers. I'm doing so right away.
So it's under topic 4.
No, under topic 1. But I'll post it under where we have big blue button for this topic.
Okay.
Tuko pamoja?
Yes.
Okay.
Utaiona tu. Actually, once you open, you'll see discussion forum. So you post your answers there.
Okay, we go through them individually, then post them, or we discuss.
Just post them individually. Of course, when you post, John post and Florence post, you'll be able to see all their contributions.
Okay.
Yes. And then I'll be able to give you a feedback.
Okay.
Swali lingine?
Just a
So
second.
I
Can you
think we
repeat what
can
you are supposed to do?
stop there, and then I
in
can give you
the
the
discussion forum?
Okay, what you'll do in the discussion forum is I'll post maybe one question, yeah? Sawa.
Yes.
Swali moja. So itakuja hapo tu kuandikia discussion forum and the question asked that has been allocated to you. Now what you do, you just click on that area and it will open a section whereby you can type your feedback. It will give you a section where you type your feedback.
Okay.
We okay? Nisawa John, have I answered your question?
Yes, thank you.
Florence, I hope you're still together. Florence, when ulituacha? Florence, can you hear me?
Yes.
Before.
Yes.
Good. Have you heard everything that?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said. I haven't heard whatever you said.
Yes, I have a question. Can you get me clearly now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, my question is,
Okay.
You
Go
said that we
ahead.
have many sources of info. Yeah?
Yes.
You said we have sources of information. Are they two or there are more?
Are they sources of history and government?
Yes, under the importance of studying government, then we have the sources of information, which you say that.
There are three.
Yeah.
There are three. We have unwritten sources. 3.
Yeah.
Two. We have unwritten sources.
Yeah.
We have written, and we have electronic sources.
Okay.
Have I answered you?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Karibu. So tuko pamoja wengine?
Yes.
Aya, sawa. So can we log in before the time ends?
Yes. So what time do we log in?
We can log in, let's say 30 minutes to time.
Okay.
That will be at 4:30. Sawa
Okay.
sawa.
So 1 hour.
1 hour.